Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Big Screen Show. My name is Victor,
I'm Jorge.
I'm Alex.
and we are back for our The Marvels review, conversation, discussion, whatever you want to call it. Before we get into this, I want to let everybody know if you subscribe to the channel, that really does help us out. And if you like this video, hitting that thumbs up down there really does let us know that, and it helps us out. So please do that. Now, with that out the way, guys.
Actually, hold on. Actually, I do want to add one more thing. First of all, let's give a round of applause that the actor strike is over now. Like, let's give a round of applause there.
Oh, yes.
We finally get back to making those movies and TV series again. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes, that certainly is a highlight, and definitely a highlight that is much brighter than the topic at hand, the Marvels. Now, who would like to take this one first?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Go ahead, Alex.
For me, the Marvels, honestly, I think it's fair to say this is probably like kind of like the weirdest movie that they made, because this one, it's both kind of weird in like a fun way, but also kind of like in a bad way, where like I think it's like the first Marvel movie where I could say it actually would have benefited being longer, because it definitely feel like there are very much some shortcomings within this movie here. Because like I will say, the movie definitely was kind of weird in a fun way, and in some most scenes that we'll talk about later on. But I will say it does have like major shortcomings, like where it kind of quickens the pace for some of these emotional moments that don't really feel earned or isn't really built up enough to really feel much. We're just kind of going like by the notes. And again, the kind of the villain is like pretty forgettable, but you can tell that the character was trying to be kind of like Gravik from Secret Invasion, or like the Flag Smashers from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but she doesn't really have like much really presence or anything to really go on to it more, which again I blame the short runtime for, because this is actually like the shortest Marvel movie that we've actually seen. But honestly, the movie does have its good benefits for like some creative action sequences between like the Marvels themselves and like what we know from like the trailers, where their powers are kind of like entangled together as part of the plot of the film, which I think was actually done pretty well, especially like the camera works that they do for like the fight sequences, which I do gotta give some big credit for, because that's something that Marvel is pretty good at doing when they have like some good creative people behind it. And but still suffers with like the CGI stuff that you can tell is already fake, especially after we've all seen like the creator film with his very surreal visuals and everything. So it's easy to see like how fake everything is in like this movie itself. But other than that, this movie was pretty entertaining, but it is pretty weak and still pretty low. So I would still give this movie about a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's just fine, but I probably see it as like a casual viewer, because I found it fun, but like not something I'd just be clamoring to go and watch again and again, or fully recommend in some way, but like kind of.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I'll go ahead and go next, because I'm sure it's about to go downhill. This episode is really about to be interesting, this conversation, I have a feeling. But I agree with you, Alex. As far as the rating is concerned, I give the movie a 5. I think I went into it with expectations where I thought it's just going to be a mid movie, like just kind of middle of the road. Like, I'll watch it once, not hate it, not love it, just feeling different as soon as I leave the theater, and kind of already forget it ever really existed as soon as I left the theater. But I didn't necessarily hate my hour and 50 in the theater, if that makes sense. And for a good while, it was shaping up to be just that. And then a couple of sequences and events occurred later on in the movie, which we'll definitely get into it later on, which just screams Disney. And usually when a Marvel movie specifically screams Disney, it's not for the benefit of the movie, in my opinion. And I think it hurt it pretty bad. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, because it was really shaping up to be like a 6 for me, kind of like just a good one-time watch. And then but I wouldn't go as far as a 4, because I don't think it was complete garbage.
Nah,
I just definitely think
that's like now that'd be like Thor: Love and Thunder bad, but not this.
Right, but in the end, I think you're right. I think the villain is, I mean, literally irrelevant, to be honest. I think there's just a question in the middle of it all of like, why? Why does this exist? Why is this happening? Why is this relevant? Why are you releasing this at this point in time? Especially with, I'm sure Jorge is going to go deeper into this, while Loki is going on and all that entails. Why? So with that being said, I think it's just a 5. It's just not good, not bad. It's simply just a one-time watch.
Just okay.
Yeah, just watch it once if you want, and that's it. So that is it. Jorge, your thoughts? I can't wait to hear this.
This should be fun.
Yeah, I want to start by saying that this movie cost $250 million in production.
Right.
With that in mind,
which really quickly, sorry to cut you off, but before you continue, just really quick on Alex's point of the VFX and how you could definitely tell it was weak at some points, and he alluded to the creator. The creator's budget was $80 million, and that VFX was, I mean, bar none.
Beautiful,
and now with $250 million, this is, so I'm just want to point that out because it's kind of crazy when you look at it through that perspective. But go ahead.
So yeah, as I was saying, $250 million production cost, and I can't believe Kevin Feige or whoever gave the green light to this project with that amount of money. And the moment that Marvel is at right now, we don't need these kind of projects. This is just gonna keep hurting the brand, because the more mediocre projects they come out with, the worse the brand gets. Thanks God we have Guardians of the Galaxy this year. But again, we can't depend on James Gunn to save us the year and be like, okay, Marvel can still pull off amazing projects depending on like amazing directors with amazing stories and amazing characters. But coming out with this movie, my expectations were low already. And I'm gonna be honest, I enjoyed it, Captain Marvel. I know it's a little controversial because that movie is not well received by the fans or the critics, but I did enjoy it. And I was coming into this movie with low expectations, but excited because I was gonna see, for example, Monica Rambeau, which is a character that I, enjoyed it in WandaVision, and I wanted to see where her story was gonna go. Obviously, I wanted to see the state of the Captain Marvel, the one who destroyed Thanos' ship, going through it. Like I wanted to see like her full potential once again, the way she showed in Captain Marvel's movie as well. I got none of that. I just got some decent VFX, because the VFX are okay in most parts of the movie. There are some parts that, again, considering the production cost, you say, how is it possible that this has this VFX quality? Like, it's insane. The story is absolutely plain. There's nothing really interesting about it. They trying to tie in this new villain with Ronan's story from Phase 1 with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're trying to make this movie into kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy 1 copycat, but they don't really get it with, some jokes that work, but some don't. Honestly, I think the movie is one of the worst movies that the MCU has. I give it a 3. To me, it's a 3.8, but it's still a 3. I don't think it's worse than Love and Thunder either, because Love and Thunder has one of the big characters, which is Thor, and that has more impact in how I consider that movie compared to this one. Because again, I've never really connected with Carol Danvers as a character, and much less, with Kamala or Monica at this point. But yeah, I mean, as you said, Victor, there are two sequences that are completely disastrous. They don't make any sense whatsoever. They don't add anything to the movie. And to what Alex was saying, that the movie needed more time, maybe a little bit, but also you could have like avoided those scenes and add more character development to Carol Danvers, for example, or to the relationship between Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau, and not come up with this disaster of like ideas. This felt like Ragnarok in a way when they were in Planet Hulk, at a moment, but terribly done. Like very low budget quality, having a $250 million production cost. But yeah, we'll definitely dive a little bit more into in the video later. But yeah, I give it a 3 out of 10.
Woo!
Well, guys,
Man, that was not meant to go that low there, Jorge. But I can't
he
fault you
actually
on
went
that.
down. He actually went a point lower than what he told me earlier, so it got
No,
worse.
I got no.
Oh,
I
did
told
you say 3? I thought
Yeah,
you told me
yeah,
4.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
okay.
3. I mean,
Fair,
it's a high
Ooh.
3, but it doesn't pass.
I
It
mean,
doesn't
at
doesn't
that
get to a
point,
4 to me.
anything. Let's get it out there for the people. For us 3, I think we all agree. If we rate it anything lower than a 5, it's just
Fail.
garbage. Yeah, it's a fail. So,
Like Morbius.
so clearly, for Jorge, this movie was a complete failure.
Yeah.
I'm not, and by the way, I want to let you know, brother, I am not against a lot of the things you said. I'm really not. I don't think Alex is either. I think
I'm not.
we're not over
No.
here vouching for the movie in any case, and we're not going to fight you on a
No.
lot of that because you have a fair point.
I mean, we're here to discuss, and we all
Yeah,
have
yeah,
different
yeah.
points of
Yeah,
view.
we're gonna
So
discuss. We're gonna discuss.
The point I'm trying to make, and the differences in our ratings at least, is I think we might be seeing a little bit more of the good more openly. Because you're being so harsh on the negative, but I'm not against it.
no, fair enough.
Because they're big negatives. I agree.
It's valid. It's very valid.
Yeah, they're super valid. So let's
But again,
dive in.
they're big negatives compared to the production cost. Because
Yeah,
if this
yeah.
movie would have cost 100 million, I would be like, okay, it's very acceptable everything that I'm watching. But
it's like swap creator and this budget. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
You know,
Then
it's
it
like-
all kind of like makes a lot
right,
more sense, right?
I'll be like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
fair enough. But then it's like Marvel is allocating this amount of resources into these kind of projects and not so much
Yeah.
into other projects. And then they come out with this. Makes no
Yeah.
sense to me.
I think you have a good point. Which let's go ahead and let's just dive a little deeper. By the way, if you're new around here, you don't know how it works. This is our general thoughts. We're about to get into spoiler territory. I know this movie came out the day this video is released, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, if you don't want it spoiled, go ahead and click off the video. We're about to dive in deep into this movie. You have been warned. Now, I think a good point that you touched on was... Actually, no. Let's go ahead and discuss these two things that we keep talking about. These two events, these two disastrous events, as you said it. I think it was that you said, which I couldn't agree more. I think it's just like, why is this in this movie? But the singing bit, the whole singing bit, the planet where they only communicate by singing,
Aladna or Aladna, however you pronounce it.
Aladna, that's right, and that whole bit, and then the way we get off this ship, the way we rescue everybody, is by getting consumed by cats.
Yeah, I
have a problem with those two things, personally. It's why
The first one being the singing dance planet. It's honestly
atrocious.
I think it's the worst idea that Marvel has put into any movie.
I honestly fully agree. I have
Like-
never sat in the movie theater during a Marvel movie and have felt the way I did during that. I
Like
actually
Love and
felt
Thunder,
disturbed.
I was ashamed in a lot of parts, but this one, it went completely above and beyond. Like
Yeah, I
it
agree.
made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's just it's just like it was like the plot wasn't strong, but you were kind of cruising, and then you really just set the wheel on a completely, you jerked it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
what
honestly,
is this?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I could say that scene was like where Marvel MCU literally went full Disney, and
That's
like
what I've said.
that like completely out of nowhere. And yeah, that didn't make any sense. But I will say the music and stuff was kind of catchy. Like I'm not gonna complain too much about it. But yeah, that was like blatant Disney. Like, did they run out of ideas or something to try to make this make sense or to make it interesting? But you thought like, oh no, we're just gonna do it like the old Disney Channel days where music just seems to like everything's better or keeps you focused on the plot. But like that honestly was very tasteful.
And that's what I meant by earlier, that these scenes just sing. I'll just go ahead and use that word. They sing Disney. I mean, it's like spell out Disney, like literally like pull out the wand and Disney Channel, like it's literally
Yeah,
Disney-fied,
like yeah.
and it's just
But
so,
like
and
in
it's
the,
just
but like
like
in the worst possible way, because if it's
yes,
like if you're gonna make a planet that just sings, then make it good, make it emotional, believable. It's like everything is like half done with terrible ideas. You know, it's like
Plus the plan didn't even look very interesting to where like a whole musical thing would even make sense in that place. I mean, it's like it's bland. It's
it's
bland.
so bland. And then you have this component where you have a movie that you have all female characters, you know, leading the movie, trying to like obviously as we know in Captain Marvel, you know, it's like empowering more like female characters, right? But then here it's like we don't see the full potential of all the characters because obviously they have to nerf them down because you know Captain Marvel is like a god level, you know, of a superhero. And also then you have this sequence where she had to marry a prince because of political reasons, like making the character look like okay, like what is going on, this is not who you are supposed to be, you know, like you're supposed to be like literally like the savior of the universe and you're here like marrying a dude who sings, like what is this, you know?
Well, he was bilingual, so he doesn't have to sing all the time compared
Yeah,
to like the rest of the
yeah,
people.
but I
bro,
think the
just
point
like
still stands.
You're
Yeah,
not
like
nah,
wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just putting that out there, just for the
right,
audience out
but
there.
still it's like the whole idea of bilingual, oh my god,
yeah,
it's like what, you know,
I.
bilingual of like he can sing and talk normal, like that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea for a $250 million production. Like
No,
it's
yeah,
insane.
yeah. No, it's honestly unacceptable that they added that. And then they had me in the first half. I'll admit, like when she first comes in and she has the thing on and they're singing, it's like whatever. But when she enters that room and then she starts singing and they dance and all, I'm like, all right, dude, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah, but you
What
gotta
are you doing?
admit, I mean, I didn't think Brie Larson could actually sing, but I don't know
I
if that was
wasn't
actually
even
her singing.
listening to her singing because
Uh,
I was like him. Jorge and I were in the theater just looking at each other, like just literally asking ourselves, what the fuck is going
Why?
on this screen?
That is
Yeah.
true. I was actually doing things. I was actually in theaters a lot by myself, since like different locations. But that was my same reaction as you guys stuff. But I was still listening because music. I gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
I was laughing profusely, so I couldn't really focus in on the singing. It was like kind of background noise at that point.
And
But
again, it's the shortest movie of the MCU, and you're
so you're
adding
wasting
these
time.
sequences on
Yes.
this. It
Mm-hmm.
makes no
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like you
Yes.
literally to kind of like change the topic. You literally took at least 40 minutes, sorry, to introduce what the movie is about. Like
Yeah, the
really
plot.
about the
Yeah, that's
plot.
another
Yeah.
problem I have with it. Yeah, I agree.
Like
And plus,
why?
one other thing I noticed, like it's happened twice, where in that scene where again Carol Danvers is like in a dress, but then when the whole dancing and singing's over, like it's just gone, and it's like, so like did that not actually happen? Like what the hell? And then the same thing happened like earlier in the movie where Kamala was in space, but then when she falls down to Earth, she's not wearing her costume. So like how does that make any sense? She was wearing her costume, but then she wasn't. Like, did I miss something? Was there like a cut somewhere that people missed? Like, what happened? Where was that?
Yeah.
Movies everywhere. Yeah, but
It was a mess. I was like, did they?
yeah, no, I agree. So moving forward, because I'm sure we could talk about that scene for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll bring up the next problem I personally have. The whole cat bit. I mean, really, like your idea is to get rescued by cats. Like, I mean, it's cute in theory, but if the movie, no, I'll say this, not when the movie, but if the movie is actually genuinely attempting and putting effort towards being serious, that is not the solution.
Yeah,
That, in my point of view,
I agree.
that is not the
yeah.
solution.
You're not wrong.
If you're not trying to be serious, then sure, that is your solution. Which clearly the movie was not trying to be serious, and that is the problem. We've talked about this. This is a recurring topic on this channel since anytime we touch Marvel. It's like that's why we enjoyed so much of, let's say, episodes 1 through 5 of Secret Invasion, because it was serious. It was like real stuff. Like it took itself seriously, and now we're just back in this mess of plot writing and display of whatever it is that is just, it's like it's making fun of itself, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Exactly.
take itself seriously, and it's sad. It's just simply sad. Like because us three are like real fans. So like we want to see it succeed. We want to see it be
Exactly. Yeah.
quality. We want to see it be meaningful. We want to see it be powerful. And it's just not. And I just think this whole cat thing, and I know Alex, you love cats. That's not besides the point.
I love all animals. Okay, I'm not this specific.
You're a cat person. Is the point that I'm
Just
saying.
because I have a kid, just because I have a cat doesn't just make me a cat person.
The point
Yeah.
is, I mean, yeah, facts. But the point
Shut
is this.
up, shut up.
The point is this. That's not how you solve the problem. Like, do some
Exactly.
crazy heroic shit where like Danvers is like grabbing everybody and flying them back or something. I don't know. She's like,
Or let them die. The same way the scrolls die. And it was impactful. You know, you saw like the whole thing collapsing. It's like, okay, there's like a bunch of people dying there. Do the same. Like, why do you have to save the saver people with cats? Like, why are they? They're not important. Like, who cares about the saver workers? Let them all die. And like
Yeah.
save that whole
Oh.
sequence with the cats and put something else, you know?
Yeah, but that same sequence, like, we didn't honestly. There's barely enough interaction with except maybe like two workers in there for Saber, and like honestly, we don't really care enough about it. So like, I don't think we're really gonna really care that much if those people died. So like, and again, it really doesn't take it so seriously enough. But I don't think it doesn't take it so seriously as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. But I do say, if anything, this whole movie it honestly did not make me laugh. I think this is probably like the first MCU film where it didn't make me laugh. Where like, I think the only time I ever got a laugh from this film entirely was with that whole cat sequence, and then of course with Kamala's parents throughout the film. Because like those are the only two things that actually made me laugh in this movie, which I thought was this is kind of odd, but yeah, but it's kind of interesting and new. But like if those are the only things, then like yeah, it's already not doing that much of a good job to be interesting, but then again, it also isn't as bad as it was with Thor: Love and Thunder, where everything was basically a joke.
Yeah,
yeah,
fair
yeah, yeah,
enough.
yeah.
But you
Yeah, I
know,
agree.
I think we should explain a little bit of like what the plot is about because you know we haven't really touched on that yet. So basically, the plot is that you know because of this villain that I already forget about her name. I don't even
Uh,
remember her.
Dar-Benn.
Yeah, she recovered the bracelet, the same bracelet that Kamala has, and that made them kind of like intertwine and entangle their powers. So whenever two of them use the powers at the same time, they will switch places. Which directing wise, that was pretty cool. I like you know those
Yeah,
switches. You know,
I thought that was so sick, and I thought,
oh,
especially VFX wise, it was done like
yeah,
awesomely.
it was pretty
Oh
good. It was
yeah,
pretty clean. And those were like, I would say the first 20 to 25 minutes of the movie, which I honestly thought they were cool. They were entertaining. They
yeah.
were showing me a lot of action, you know, a lot of good, you know, action sequences. Direction wise was pretty good. VFX were pretty good. You know, I was okay, cool. This is coming up well. Then you know we enter in this weird phase of like them training with each other and you know instantly knowing everything, and I think that's so unrealistic because neither Kamala nor Monica Rambeau has been in space like deep space. And for example, like taking Avengers Endgame, that scene where you know where Steve, where Natasha are in the spaceship and they're watching the space for the first time, it's so impactful because you're living it through them. You know, here they just make it seem like it's normal, like it's everyday thing that any human goes out to deep space and starts doing jumps, you know, across space. I will take that from characters from for Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, that they're used to that, but not for like a character like Kamala or Monica in this case, you know.
Well, for Monica, you actually could, because again, she's been with Saber like for like ever since even like before like WandaVision. So like
Fair enough.
she's done playing space missions. But you're all right about Kamal. Like her only real experience in space was like when she literally got like after all their powers got entangled and she got sent into space in the spacesuit
Yeah,
after switching with Monica. So like I mean, she did freak out there, but
yeah,
you think she'd be a little bit more astonished that she's going to these different planets and stuff. Same as like you said, like Steve, Clint, and Natasha after going out into space in Endgame. So
right.
you are right about that. That is your got point.
Yeah, And we have this whole like process of training and stuff, and then they come to the conclusion like, oh yeah, whenever we use our powers we switch. They finally figure it out. It wasn't that hard. But yeah, they pretty much figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had this side quest that weren't really like important, as going to Atlanta to look for something, and at the end of the day, like, the planet got destroyed somehow. So that whole thing didn't care. And then we had like kind of like final battle against this villain that honestly I
Well,
believe
the sorry to cut you off, but
no,
you
you're good.
forgot to mention that once they figured out their powers were entangled, at that point in time, the plot was introduced, or I guess the problem was introduced, because up to that point, it had been at least, let's say on the
40.
low end, 30 minutes, but realistically, I think it was at least like 45
40,
minutes.
yeah.
And they're still just, we're just watching stuff happen. Like, there's no actual plot or actual like problem introduced or any kind of conflict. So then the conflict was introduced that basically the villain, which again, so unforgettable that I forget the name, remind me.
Dar-Benn.
Dar-Benn has the other bracelet that they basically need to get off her because it makes her like too powerful, basically. So
Yeah,
then,
it basically uses it with her weapon, the universal hammer, which is kind of connected to like her ship or device to create like this jump point between like time and space, to where she basically, her whole plot is essentially to basically restore the planet Hala from like Captain Marvel, where, because we find out in like a flashback sequence that like after events of Captain Marvel, Carol actually went back to the planet to destroy the supreme intelligence, but in doing so, it kind of basically cuts off like the entire planet's like resources, the sun, oxygen, stuff like that.
Water.
And the thing, yeah, everything. But see, it's interesting here because like, honestly, if the movie had more time with the character, either more screen time or like just cut out all like the weirdness and everything that didn't really add much of anything to it, she actually could have been a pretty good villain up to standards with like Gravik and the Flag Smashers, because she had good intentions and stuff to like restore her planet's resources and everything, including the sun for her people. But again, her character is not written well, where she's kind of like, she like just copy and paste of those two, but with no redeeming quality of personality aside from like the intentions. Like, the intentions is written good, but her as a character is not. It's kind of lazy copy and
fair.
paste, because
Yeah.
again, she had good intentions, but by the end of it, she pretty much just like destroys herself. And so like, that's it. And plus, even by when we got to like the final battle between like with Carol, Monica, and Kamala against her, it was kind of anticlimactic, really. And then the villain just basically like just ends herself by getting like having both wristbands bangles, but then she's like just gone. And so like, she really didn't have much of an impact on anything, really. I mean, she destroyed like two planets, but then like, now that's it. And in the end, Carol basically saved the day, saved her planet literally using like her full powers and stuff like that. Because as you said, Jorge, she is kind of nerfed throughout this whole movie, because like she literally had like the powers of the sun in the comics. That's like the binary force, which is literally the
Yeah.
power of the eternal star, the sun, like that. But again, we only got to see like just a small bit of that for like 60 seconds, and that was like literally at the end of the movie.
Exactly, man. Like that part is like, okay, it's like her entering into a star and like reviving a star. That's the things I want to see. Like
Mm-hmm.
her full potential being really impactful to other characters. She literally changed the course of this planet again. Like, do stuff like that. Don't give me like singing sequences. Like, come on, Marvel, come on.
Fair. Fair. So yeah, that basically sums up the plot of the movie pretty well, which, again, if the movie is an hour and 50 minutes, there's about 50 minutes of plot, which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
So I definitely
pretty
have
simple.
yeah, it's super simple, and I have a problem with it being introduced so late. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, if you introduce it earlier, make the movie a little longer, and do something different with your time than that cat stuff and that singing stuff, who knows? The movie could actually be decent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because again, the movie did have like some good stuff to hang on to.
for sure.
Because like with Carol Danvers, it showed that how like literally after what she did to the planet Hala, she literally kind of like isolated herself from the planet, including Monica, who had just lost her mother in WandaVision, and she was basically alone. And so Carol was trying to redeem herself by going to these different planets, helping out with the whole Kree and stuff like that. That was actually interesting, but again, we only got like little small moments with between like
Right.
her and Monica to try and get like some type of feeling. But
Yeah.
again, I feel like Kamala and Monica were kind of underserved a bit. Like with Monica, where building herself up to like be this hero, but like there's really not much like pavement way for her to really get that moment across. Like she got that final moment by the end where she basically like fixed like the whole time and space thing in space, where she literally sacrificed going from like one universe into the next one, but like that just happened as part of like a moment that's written, but it was never really built up because like, hey, I got these ultimate awesome powers, let me use it for this final moment, but like we don't really get as much of it as we do early on in the movie. We just got like basic simplicity. But like if you had more time with Monica in like either in some other movies or like cameos and shows like that to actually connect more with her, more so like we did in like WandaVision in some parts, then like this would have felt like much more bigger and something that could have been more built up. But like, nah.
Right.
And again, it's like I really don't have any complaints for like Kamala as much because like her thing is basically like, she got to meet her hero and work with them. That's basically her whole thing,
Yeah,
which is good because she's a fangirl.
it
But
feels real. Yeah, it feels like she's literally meeting her idol, and you kind of like feel it through her, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, and she really understands like what loss is when she couldn't save people. That was a good core moment for her. And
Yeah.
again, I do want to say that the actress playing Kamala Khan, Iman Vellani, for someone whose first acting career was literally to be Miss Marvel in the Miss Marvel TV show into now, she has done like a fantastic job portraying the character so well. Because again, she's a Marvel fan geek at her core, even before she joined the MCU. Because like she even went against Kevin Feige, who want to make like MCU or actual Earth 616. I mean, it's now confirmed that it's Earth 616 now, but like I don't really care. I'm gonna go with what Sonyverse Spider-Verse says. MCU is Earth 199999 because like I don't care what anybody else says. It's Earth 19999. But
It
yeah,
is.
she did an amazing job as a first star of her career doing this. Like better than like what most starting actors have done. Better than child actors even. But yeah, I will say definitely a very great start for her. But I will say it still was a terrible decision to change her powers from the comic books for the MCU just for like the whole cosmic power spectrum thing. I still hate that. Worst decision ever.
Yeah. Well, before we move on into what I think was the best parts of the movie, which is the last scene of the movie and the post-credit scene, I want to touch on something else. I don't know if you guys want to talk about this too, but I want to talk about Nick Fury. What are they doing with the character? It's such an iconic character that we remember being one of the most ferocious characters, one of the most cold characters. We came from Secret Invasion watching the first 4 episodes, I would say, and being like, okay, this is shaping pretty good, for Nick Fury to be the same badass character he was, knowing everything, being in everything, and then here he's again relegated to this weird character that doesn't feel like the Nick Fury we know, and it doesn't even feel connected to the Nick Fury that left Earth on the last episode on Secret Invasion. There's not a single comment related to everything that happened to the Skrulls to Carol in the movie, for example. There's not a single thing related to Secret Invasion in the movie, and we thought that this was kind of like, I'm not gonna say a continuation, but somehow connected to Nick Fury and how he was gonna play it out in this movie, because he's again the director of Saber, you know, nothing, like no connection whatsoever. So you have a whole show that is gonna be lost and forgotten, and it's not gonna be connected whatsoever to any of the movies.
Yeah, that is a shame. Honestly, is because I even think like the Marvels is literally after the events of Secret Invasion to like
Yeah,
it seems like it, but yeah, there really isn't much for Fury to do except like just kind of like leading things as they are. But like I still thought he had some pretty good funny moments and good action sequence there. But yeah, it is kind of really hard to see like how he's kind of really hard to see this is the same person from like Secret Invasion, which more serious, who literally lost like probably like his only two best friends in the world. Yeah,
We
Yeah,
don't
so
see
he's
we don't
it
see
just
we don't see his wife, like nothing. Like there's no mention of anything from Secret Invasion.
yeah, it's
And we
just
see scrolls here. Like we see
right.
scrolls again. Like I don't understand. Like I'm like I don't know. It's a whole mess.
No, yeah, that is pretty sloppy on their part. Like they need to address it. They could have addressed it.
Make one comment about it.
Like yeah, one right. I
I'll
agree.
be happy with it.
I agree because then it, like you said, it gets lost in just the kind of whirlwind of all
Yeah.
the stuff they'll never go allude to ever again. Honestly, probably. So yeah,
yeah,
and
but I think
he's still not that, which is the bigger problem I had with Nick Fury is just he's not that like that hard ass, but and maybe he didn't need to be in this situation, but also it's like you could just tell it's not in him, which is like kind of kind of sad.
It doesn't feel Nick Fury. It feels another character. To be honest, it
yeah,
doesn't even have black clothes. It doesn't have a presence on the screen anymore. He just makes like some random Samuel L. Jackson jokes here and there, a little cursing here and there to put a little bit more like adult vibe to it.
I
But it
think
doesn't.
the best parts of Nick Fury is when he's with Goose. Honestly,
Fair enough.
I love him with
yeah.
that cat just because it's like that's how he lost his eye, and I love them together, especially when he's petting him because it's like
Yeah,
what's up?
that's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like when he was petting him. Like you could see that it's a genuine connection between them both. But
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, but let's just kind of bring up another kind of issue because, like, has there ever really kind of been like a Marvel TV show or like any type of Marvel movie that actually connected into like some MCU shows? Because I understand like wow, the Marvels connected with Miss Marvel because Miss Marvel was introduced in the Miss Marvel TV show. Other than that, I can't really think of like any other movie
Loki.
that's connected with like
This
with
Loki.
the,
this movie,
yeah, but has it that is
Where was
that's true.
Loki is literally because of Avengers Endgame. Like we took one scene right out of the most
yeah,
important movie of the
and
whole
this
MCU.
But that's the difference though. The TV shows can come off from what the movies, but the movies have never come out from what the TV show is.
well, like you said, you listed Miss Marvel in this, and then another one in this is Monica Rambeau, because at least in photon form.
Yeah.
Photon Spectrum, she's gone by plenty of other different names in comics. So
You know what I mean. Like in this state, because it all happened in WandaVision for the first time,
Right.
which was a TV show.
No,
So
good point. I just kind of worked myself around the circle there.
yeah, but
Yeah.
moving on to our last point, I think, which to me personally,
Well,
if you
remember
just
first the last scene and then the post credits
yeah,
scene.
no, I got you, brother, because it's literally to me that 10-minute span is the best 10-minute span I had in that movie theater.
Yep.
Let's talk about it. The actual movie ends with Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop having a conversation. Basically, Kamala Khan is getting a team together, as she said, and she's recruiting Kate Bishop. Basically, just simply asks her if she'll join the team, and then end the movie, which is, at least for me, and Alex knows this, and I told you this after the movie, Jorge, I am a huge Young Avengers fan. I have their comics. I read them. I literally love them to death, and I am been excited. I like literally since the like start of this idea, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And now that's kind of playing out a little bit more. Obviously, we've known it's kind of been playing out with like America Chavez and Kate Bishop and Cassie Lang coming into the picture here and there, but it's never been alluded to like a team yet. And this is the first time they're actually alluding to a team when it comes to the kids, the younger guys, I guess. They're not really kids. They're like in their 20s, as she said. So it's very exciting for me. Honestly, that was literally like, ask me what my favorite scene in the movie is. That one, no doubt.
That's definitely like probably like my top 3 scenes for this whole movie itself. But it was hilarious how like Kamal was like trying to imitate Nick Fury, like like his introduction in the Iron Man movie, like the very first Iron Man movie. That was funny.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because she's a juvenile and
Yeah,
the way she behaves is very, childish, and it's according to her age, which is cool. I'm not expecting her to be a serious character, because
Right.
she ain't, and I really like that part, Alex, that she was like
yeah,
kind of like imitating Nick Fury, all being serious, mysterious, like,
yeah,
hey, you want to join,
yeah,
Right.
and,
yeah,
and it was a
yeah.
great surprise to see Kate Bishop. I was not expecting at all to see her in
Such
this
a
movie.
fan.
Yeah, I did
I'm
Yeah,
not
such a
yeah.
expect that at
fan.
all. Not at all. But
When I
I
saw when I
was glad to
saw the
see.
arrow, I was like, "What is this? What's going on here?"
Yeah.
And then I saw the purple, and I'm like, "Oh my god, we got Kate right now! Amazing! I
Which
loved
I
it."
should have, known it was her from the jump when you see the dog, because the dog was in the
Right? Yeah.
Oh
show.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But then
I knew straight away.
oh, you knew, yeah, did you? Because then once I see Kate, I'm like, oh, duh, that's her dog. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
then it clicks kind of backwards. But anyway, it was just so out of left field. I was just so not expecting that. But I'm very glad we got that. I can't wait. Obviously, it still probably won't be a good while until we get that, due to the fact that probably Ironheart will probably be included, and that movie is not anywhere near coming out yet, I don't think. So we'll see. And the strike, and that just ended, so it's probably not a whiles away. But the fact that they added this is appreciated. At least from me. But next, which is crazy, because seeing that, you're already getting me excited, and then I'm like, oh, post credit scene, whatever. But like, to me, that's already like top tier kind of little bit at the end, to be honest. Like, for me, because again, I'm a huge Young Avengers fan. But then we get to the post credit scene or mid credit scene. Guys, it's happening.
It is
It's
happening.
happening.
it
It's
is
happening.
happening.
It's
It's
here.
happening. It's coming.
It's happening. We see Monica Rambeau, who, if we didn't explain this already, which actually I don't think we did, at the end of the actual movie, she gets basically, she sacrifices herself for the betterment of the world, and basically leaves herself in an alternate dimension. There we go. We'll put it that way.
Reality.
An alternate reality. We'll put it that way. That's basically what she does. So so the ending of the movie is kind of sad, because between Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, they're like, oh, Monica's gone. Okay, great. Mid credit scene starts, and we see Monica Rambeau waking up in a hospital type situation, like, kind of getting health treatment, whatever, that kind of thing. And it's just her for a second, and then it shows her mother, which is really cool. And obviously she's like, oh my god, mom, because again, we throughout the process of this movie, we have been told that it was very hard for her mother's death and all this, so her seeing her mother again was probably really impactful. But you could tell, as she was looking at her mother and being like so excited about it, this mother was not very receptive to this. She was like, mother, what are you talking about? She wasn't really reciprocating the affection, I should say.
She had no idea who she was at all. Like, why you calling me mom?
Turn camera. Who do we see? It's Beast.
The one and only Beast from the
Man,
X-Men.
Yeah.
what?
But
Holy
seriously,
cow!
like the CGI was so blatantly
No,
obvious. Like
see,
it was
go
like,
ahead,
could
go
it
ahead.
kill? Because like could it kill them to just use like prosthetic makeup? Why did it have to be CG? Honestly,
But it was so good, though.
you could just tell it was obvious. But I will say it was actually a good look for him, like how they had his design for CGI. But like the CGI was just so blatant, you could tell he was all CGI, and that's the part I don't like. It's just so obvious.
In my opinion,
I'm gonna be
it's some of
totally
the best
honest.
CGI in the whole movie.
Well,
Can't
I'm
even
gonna be
lie.
totally honest. For the impact that this post-credit scene has, like, I honestly don't care if
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is,
like super clear that it's CGI, because this, honestly, I would say that this is the second most important post-credit scene we've had in the MCU up to now. I would say, like, I think the first one, it's probably when Thanos took the gauntlet, and it was like, okay, fine, I'll do it myself, Like, here we go, like, things are about to go down. Now we get finally the real introduction of the X-Men in the MCU, and man, I couldn't be more excited about it. If there's one
And
thing
he
that
named Charles.
he
which is
did name
crazy.
Charles. I mean, we've seen
Yeah.
Charles already in the past, so
Yeah, but like the fact that I don't know, that was just
right.
like it
But
was
now
just
it's
big
like
time.
real, it's happening, and it's like
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
seeing the second most important character so far, shown from the X-Men, and I don't know,
And
like
just seeing like a door in the background with the X on it,
oh
because
my
like what,
god,
dude? I was like,
yeah,
this is not happening.
yeah. But coming to Alex's point, I hope, man, I hope that Marvel handles these characters how they should be handled.
Well, I'll tell you
Because,
this. Well, yeah, go ahead. Actually,
again, for example, personally, I think Tom Holland's Peter Parker slash Spider-Man is the weakest comparing to Tobey's and Andrew's in terms of the suit. It's the only suit that is CGI, like full CGI, and you can notice that. Comparing to Tobias's movie, the first one, the second one, or Andrew's movie, personally, I think it's one of the best ones of like Spider-Man's. I hope that Marvel keeps at least the amazing quality that Fox had in a lot of characters. For example, Beast, because Beast costume design in the X-Men's was flawless, and here you could clearly notice that it was full CGI, and that kind of like throws you off a little bit because you have this image of him already, So I do agree with Alex a little bit. Again, this is just a post credit scene. I hope when they really introduce him big time in the movies or whatever, I hope they improve it and they make it as practical as possible so it looks as real as possible. But man, I'm just too excited. I can't complain about it. Like we're gonna have the X-Men. Like I wanna see, like, I don't know, like the possibilities are limitless, man. I wanna see, like, Peter like talking to, I don't know, man, like
like Jane.
whoever. Yeah, anybody. I don't
Wolverine.
know. Wolverine,
Well,
man.
yeah.
Anybody. At this point, like imagine a conversation between Doctor Strange and Storm. Like I don't know. The possibilities are
The
infinite.
possibilities are indeed endless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can't complain. Personally, I don't share the same sentiment as you guys because I personally was actually wowed by the VFX on Beast. I thought he looked perfect on. Well, no, okay, maybe not perfect because I was like too excited to really like lock in,
Exactly. Yeah.
but like he looked really good. He did. He looked really good.
Oh,
Like for
yeah.
VFX, he looked really, really good. I won't be convinced otherwise. But hey, if you guys want it practical, I wouldn't hold your breath on that because I highly doubt that's gonna happen. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Same.
that's my fear though, because honestly, the best type of Beast look that's been done in live action was literally from X-Men: The Last Stand, where it was like all prosthetic and makeup, and that was like the best version of Beast done.
Yeah. I agree.
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, like the last like 5 minute clip of the action movie and then this post credit scene was like the best part of the entire time I was in that theater, at least for me.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. Welcome surprises, I'll say. Like welcome good
Yeah.
surprises.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one last thing, to me to close from my end, I wanna ask myself why is Marvel planning these things this way. So today is Loki's finale, right? Which is arguably one of the most important, like events that is happening and that has happened in the MCU. So you're like dealing with the destruction of all realities at this point. You have all these characters
Of
with
all of existence.
the highest stakes possible, like literally. And in the same day that you have that finale, you showed us a movie that the stakes are so localized that comparing to what is going on in the show, you don't care. You don't care because you're like, yeah, you're saving here and there, but Loki's the one saving you. Like whatever you do here, if you do good or bad, if Loki doesn't do good, then none of what you're doing is gonna matter. So at this point, I don't really care what's going on in the movie. I care about what Loki is doing. But again, like maybe if they would have waited like a week, and released this movie the week after Loki finale, maybe it's okay. We solve whatever is going on with Loki, and then let's open now with the Marvels. but don't put them in the same day. Like, I think that's a bad decision, to be honest.
Well, that's I guess your opinion. So
That's
we'll
quite.
run
That's
with it.
quite. That's quite a statement.
Yeah, I mean, really quickly, all I have to say on that point is that they're not correlated, so I don't look at it that way at all, personally. So
Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's
it's
just
like,
me.
well, yeah, because like one's streaming, one's release, and plus, let's be honest here. Whatever. Let's be honest here.
Like
No,
nothing of my opinion for that movie would change if it released next week, last week, or today.
Oh, no, no, no. Fair
exactly.
enough. But it's just
'Cause-
adding more fuel to the problem, for no
Yeah,
reason.
that could be because either way, I'm pretty sure it's kind of unanimous that probably like nobody believed in the Marvels film like at all. It's already been projected to have like already low box office numbers for this whole
It
weekend.
was
and stuff.
destined to fail
Wow.
since it was conceived. To be
Yeah,
honest,
right at the start, because even at the beginning when its first trailer released, nobody was really that much excited for this movie. I mean, honestly, I wasn't. I mean, me, I'm like, oh, us, we're always gonna go see the latest comic book film. It's
Of
because
course.
like we're geeks, we're gonna go see it regardless. But
Of course.
because it doesn't matter what kind of trailer some releases, we're kind of be excited a little bit. But then again, with how like the brand for like Marvel and some other movies go now, we're gonna be a little hesitant and not fully commit or believe in it as much as we do for like some of like these Marvel shows, like with like Loki, with you, Jorge, and like some other stuff down the line for whatever reason it's gonna be, or like for like all of us who like Daredevil Born Again and this Echo series that's coming forward.
right?
Yeah. Which it looks pretty cool.
Oh
Not
yeah,
gonna lie, it looks very nice.
Oh yeah, plus I heard it's literally gonna be Marvel MCU's like first M-rated TV show, which is already a good sign already.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
get we're gonna get that level that we have for like the original Netflix Marvel show, Daredevil,
Yeah.
Punisher,
Hopefully.
Jessica Jones.
Let's
Yes.
go. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. I'm really looking forward to Echo. But yeah, go ahead, Victor.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Definitely, obviously, we vouch for M-rated content around here. So, with that being said, that's gonna do it for us. A bit of a longer one, but clearly we had some things to get off our chest. So that is gonna do it for us on the Marvels. If you guys like this video, please make sure to let us know by hitting that thumbs up down there. And if you like videos like this, we try to bring you guys weekly content on the latest stuff. We should be bringing you guys a Loki series review soon. Very excited about that. We haven't seen it yet, but we're definitely dying to go watch it. And we have some other videos planned soon. There's some Netflix movies coming out, so we're definitely gonna be on that, especially Invincible if you guys are into that. So lots of content coming soon in the channel. Please make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.